Okay, thank you. So my name is Alon Ben David, as you can see. I grew up in Yerushalayim. I love Yerushalayim. I know it quite well. And I also really love helping people find their place to live in Yerushalayim. And especially I love helping Olim Chadashim settle in Yerushalayim. So really, what I do is combine business and pleasure. So I'm part of the Remax Vision team. I'm a realtor. We have 42 agents, each and every one. We are probably the largest office in Yerushalayim. And each and every one of us specializes in a certain area, even though we do help each other. And I would say that most of the realtors in our office are English speaking, some are very fluent, some are less, but they all are very experienced with helping people who live abroad who want to come in and make their purchase or their rental when they are long distance. So we are very experienced in that, and this is something that we should take into consideration. I want to say right next to the next one, Rafi. Next, okay. So I think many mentioned before all the Rafi did speak about all the things you want to consider it when you want to consider when you make aliyah, which neighborhood you want to live in, all the things you have to think about, talk about, what suits you, if you're familiar with a particular community that you want to be in. But one of the most important issues that you have to keep in mind is really how big the place you need, and what would be the budget that you have, and therefore, when you know what the budget is, you will ask yourself, okay, so what neighborhood would fit me and our budget? So how are we going to go about that? So we're gonna do something, Rafi. We're going to do something. We're not going to just show you a few different areas, but rather what we're going to do, or different houses, we're going to assume that we have a budget of $1.25 million, which is somewhat an average type of a budget when we come to Yerushalayim, and see what we can get in different neighborhoods with that particular budget. So I'm going to go through four places, four neighborhoods. We're going to start with the first one, Givat Vradim. That's located about west of Katamon. This particular apartment, if it would be in Katamon, would cost more. But here we have this community of Givat Vradim. Recently we've seen more Olim come into this neighborhood as well. So we have a five-room apartment with 123 square meters, which is 1,324 square feet, and with a beautiful view of the valley. Two porches, one of them with a sukkah, and realize that having parking in apartments in Israel, in Yerushalayim, I'm sorry, is not always there. It's a big advantage that we don't always have. We're going to go to the next neighborhood and see Amar and Atziv. Here we're going a little bit further out, the other direction, east of if we took Katamon as a sort of central, so east of that would be Baka and Arnona, and then we're going to be in Amar and Atziv. And therefore, we get really much more for the same budget, more or less. 150 square meters is 1,614 square feet. And this is really, and we also get a private garden and parking. And this is really a very strong growing Olim community in recent years, really mostly because you get much more for your money. Now we're going to go to a neighborhood, which is really upscale. The most sought after maybe neighborhood in Yerushalayim. People really like this location very much. As you can see, we can get here 2 bedrooms with a beautiful living room and a magnificent view of the Knesset and the Israeli Museum. 89 square meters is 958 square feet. And this is more or less what we can get here in that kind of budget in Rechavia. I would like to try now to introduce to you something different, and I'm going to go with what Rafi in the very beginning of the session mentioned, and this is a different concept. Now remember, prices in Yerushalayim are always going up all the time. Even in this past year, when during the war or the year before, the prices a little bit stabilized and went down, in Yerushalayim continued to go up. And therefore, many people that want to buy a place in Yerushalayim, they need to sell their existing home wherever they live now before they can, it's to be able to fund the entire cost for their place in Yerushalayim. Now, if you want to make sell your house where you live now just in a few years, and you can't do it immediately, so here's the idea. We go into a new project. The new project is being built, as they was explained before. I'm taking an example of this project in Kiryat Yovel. Kiryat Yovel is a neighborhood right past Beit Vagan, south of Beit Vagan. And the location here is fantastic. We have here the light rail goes on this road. This existing light rail, and there's going to be another light rail going to be going on this road over here. Now, many people like going into new projects because eventually they're going to get a new home. And I think someone else also mentioned all the advantages you get from that. Some would think that there's a little bit of a disadvantage. You don't know what kind of people are going to be your neighbors. But I would like to say that in stage 2 already, 30 buyers from Miami have already purchased in stage 2. So if you want to consider, let's say, stage 3, which is going to be ready in 4 years, you can get along some friends and go into the stage 3 project, where they have also a lot of sukkah balconies. I want to take an example of one apartment that we have there in the project, and here we get a 5-room apartment. 133 square meters is 1,432 square feet, and we have all we need is we have a porch, we have storage, and we have, of course, the parking. Now let's see all the real advantage of. Go to the next slide, please. So what I started talking about is that the big advantage of going into a project is that we pay now between 20 or 15 or 20% of the cost, and not like taking a mortgage. We don't have to pay anything until the 3 months before the project is ready and you get the key for the project. And during this whole time, when you paid only 20% of the cost, you get 100% of the increase of the value that you most probably will have throughout those years until the project is ready. So this is a really way to secure yourself. If you know that you're planning an aliyah, or even if you're planning to move earlier, but you know that it will take time until you sell your place in where you live now, this is a really fantastic way to secure yourself in terms of the value that you get for that. Now, I would say that this is not the only project, of course, in Yerushalayim. I just took this as an example. Also, I mentioned only 3 neighborhoods in Yerushalayim. There are at least 10 different neighborhoods that many Olim live in. I would just mention maybe Ramat Eshkol, that is more suitable for Haredi crowd. Ramot is a very big neighborhood and many private housing. And I would just conclude and say that I'm there, anxious to get your phone calls, to be there to help you with anything that you need. And thank you very much for listening.